Hopefully, you can hear me if there's anybody watching. It's my second time going live, and hopefully, I do better this week than last week. Last week, I had notes and I was like, I'm going to prepare and blah, blah, blah. This week, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just speak from my heart. It might be a little risky because I don't have anything written down. But something just tells me to speak from my spirit. Don't try to make sure it's all perfectly put together. So yeah, I don't know if there's anybody that's gonna be watching, but regardless, when God gives me a message to share, I have to share it. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get right into it. Um, being with a narcissist for almost 4 years, that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. And I know some people might be watching, like, how? Like, how could you say that? Being with a narcissist is terrible. It ruined my life, or it ruins people's lives. But for me, if that wouldn't have happened, if I wasn't in that relationship for almost 4 years, if I would have never met that person, if I would have never had all the experiences I had with that person, I would not be who I am today. There's no way. If I would have never met that person, never gotten to that relationship, excuse the lighting, the sun is going in and out. But if I would have never gotten to a relationship with that person and I would have just completely skipped that chapter of my life, I would have still been repeating the same cycles, just with different people. I was literally in a cycle, in a pattern that I didn't realize I was creating. I was constantly thinking the men are the problem. These men are just da 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 da. Not realizing, Kyla, your shit stinks too. You're walking around thinking you're perfect. You're walking around thinking you're so well put together and you know yourself and you love yourself. No, you don't. That's what I had to realize. I did not love myself, which is why I stayed with that man for almost 4 years. And I don't want to make it about him. I don't want to make it about him. I don't want to demonize him. But the fact that he treated me worse than any man I've ever been with, and I treated him better than any man I've ever been with. And that was because I didn't love myself. I didn't love myself. Not only was I putting him before myself, I was putting him before God. I subconsciously viewed him like he was God. He was my everything. I revolved my life around this person. And it's not because, oh, I just loved him so much. No, I just didn't love myself. And that's one of the biggest lessons that being in a relationship with a narcissist helped me with is to love myself. I did not love myself because I didn't know myself and I didn't really know God. I've always had some type of relationship with God, but I didn't really know God like I know him now. I didn't really understand God. I had him in such a small box. I had such a small perception of God. And that's why up until I left that person, I was just doing my own thing. I was not letting God guide me. I wasn't going to God asking God to help me with anything. I was just trying to figure it out on my own. I was just doing things my way and I failed miserably, which is why I ended up getting into one of, not even one, the worst relationship I've ever been in, but also the best because, like I said, I would not be who I am today if it was not for me being with that person. I needed to have somebody mistreat me and show me what love wasn't for me to know what love truly is. I used to think love was pain. I used to think love was suffering. No, that's not love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy or boast. And I did not realize that because, like I said, I thought love was pain, love was suffering. You have to sacrifice yourself. No, you don't. That's not love. But like I said, one of the biggest lessons I learned being in that relationship was to love myself. That taught me how to love myself because I wasn't for so long. Constantly putting that person's well-being before my own. And it was making me sick. I would have chest pains. Anytime this person would go into these episodes of rage, I would have chest pains and I would tell him, do you want me to have a heart attack? Like my chest is hurting, my heart is hurting. Can you please stop? And I would just be crying hysterically. And he would say things like, I don't give a fuck. Or he would make it about him. And I don't want to make this about him. It's really about the lessons. It's not about the person, it's about the lessons. But anytime he would go crazy and I would be crying and just begging him, pleading with him, he would always flip it on me. He was constantly gaslighting me. I didn't even know what the fuck gaslighting was. I didn't know what narcissism was. I didn't know none of that. So he was, but now that I know what I know, I look back and I'm like, yo, he was gaslighting me all that time. And I knew something was going on, but I couldn't put my finger on it. There was so many times I'm like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe he has a point. But that's because he was slowly trying to mold me and pretty much groom me into what he wanted me to be. And I can never play the victim because I knew from the very first night I was with this man, there was something wrong with him, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. And back then, I didn't know anything about narcissism. Honestly, I just thought a narcissist was a person who was just really self centered and into themselves. No, it is way deeper than that. That's why I don't like when people overuse the word narcissist or narcissism. Because I'll be thinking to myself, like, y'all don't even know the half. That person might just be egotistical. That person might just be self centered. They might be a little selfish. But an actual narcissist, that's on a whole nother level. People don't realize that is an actual mental illness. It's not just a personality trait. No, those people are sick and they need healing. And I don't say that to like demonize them, but I will be honest. I believe people who have narcissistic personality disorder, that is one mental illness that I feel like the devil has his hands all in because it's like these people are, it's like they're possessed by a demon. There was so many times throughout that relationship. That was another thing that I learned too, how the devil works through people. Literally, me being with this person, there was little sprinkles of me feeling like I was in heaven with this person. But overall, I felt like I was in hell. I felt trapped. Like I wanted to die. And that was literally, it wasn't even about him. He wasn't even him. He was possessed. That was literally the devil working through him. All the things he would say to me. Because people don't realize the word Satan, what is the origin of Satan? Oh, Satan in Hebrew means adversary or accuser. So he was literally my adversary the whole relationship. No matter how sweet I was to him, ooh, I gotta move my foot. My foot is going to sleep. I'm just preaching. Like I said, I don't got no script. I don't got nothing written down. But literally throughout the whole relationship, he was my adversary. He was my accuser. And he literally was constantly accusing me of things that I didn't do, constantly going through my phone, constantly making me think I had side niggas. Excuse my language, but making me think I had side niggas that I didn't know about. Like, I literally felt like I was losing my mind being with this man. And towards the end of the relationship, I slowly started to realize this person is possessed by some demonic spirit. I started to realize that, but I'm like, well, I feel trapped because I live with this man and he depends on me. And I am a very empathetic person. So, like I said, I was constantly putting him before myself. Not anymore. I'm still empathetic, but I ain't gonna put nobody before me or God. But yeah, I so I was thinking about all these things. But to be honest with you, there was probably like two other times prior to that I tried to break up with him. I tried, but he was very persuasive, very charming, and he knew exactly what to say. It's like literally the devil, it's like he had an earpiece on and the devil was like telling him all the different things to say. And that was another thing. He came in the perfect package. He was fine. I'm not going to lie. The man was fine. Had a six pack, perfect bone structure, real dreamy eyes, long eyelashes, perfect eyebrows, perfect teeth. Like, it's like he was heaven sent. But really, he wasn't. He was all the things that fed my ego. He was all the things that fed my ego. He was charming. He was funny as hell. He was very charismatic, very talented. And I was looking at him like, this is my dream man. But that was my ego because deep down in my spirit, like I said, the first night I was with this man, I knew something was wrong with him. He had a very dark, demonic spirit on him, but I was just in denial. I was just in denial. And it was because I didn't love myself. So I'm looking at him like, oh my God, like I can't believe he wants me. He's so attracted to me. He can have any girl he wants. I'm looking at him like, oh my God, I'll probably never get somebody as good as him. But my spirit was like, no, girl, you know damn well you don't got no business with this man. You know he's crazy. You can't put your finger on what it is. Ah, dang, this lighting is irritating me. I'm sorry, y'all. I am sorry. I'm not reading the comments because I don't want to get distracted. If the lighting is not the best, please forgive me. The sun keeps moving around. The sun don't want to be still today. But he was everything I wanted from my ego. But my spirit was so disturbed by this man from the very beginning. But guess what? I ignored my intuition. I can't act like, oh, he just suddenly started acting crazy and blah blah blah. No, it was there from the beginning. And that's another thing I want to share with you guys. Don't ignore your tuition. Do not ignore your intuition. I ignored my intuition and I paid a heavy price. I don't regret it though, because like I said, I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for all those experiences I had in that relationship. But that was one of the big lessons it taught me was not to ignore your intuition. When you feel something in your spirit, you need to listen to that because if you don't, you're going to suffer the consequences just like I did. Just like I did. So that was a lesson that it taught me. What else? I learned so many lessons from that relationship. Like there has been times that I've cried and just thanked God for allowing me to be in that relationship. God didn't lead me into that relationship, but he did allow me to cross paths with that person because he knew there were certain lessons I was only going to learn from being with him, going through all the shit that I went through. But yeah, I remember there was this night, and it was one of many nights. He constantly would have these episodes of rage, and I would just be walking on eggshells. Like he would be good for a few days, and we would be rainbows and butterflies. But I was always anxious because I knew it's only a matter of time before he snaps, before that switch happens, because it's literally like a switch would go off in this person's head. And I knew, like, okay, one of his episodes is going to come up. I don't remember what triggered it. It was always something small. It was always something that the average person, or somebody in the right mind would not be tripping or going crazy about. Lord Jesus, I need some water. Back to what I was saying. Lord, whew, I did not expect to talk this much, but the words is just, God is just speaking through me right now. But what was I saying? Oh, somebody in the comments help me. What was I saying? I was talking about a specific night. I don't remember what triggered him. It was something small as usual. And I do not like to argue. I don't like to raise my voice. Um, So yeah, once I felt like the episode's coming on, like I can feel it. The anger, it's like a puffiness that happens, like where I'm like, he's puffed up, he's like angry. I can see the red. It's like bubbling up. I don't remember what he was saying, but I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with you. I'm about to leave. And by leave, I literally meant I'm about to just leave the house and go clear my head. Like, because obviously we lived together at the time. So if I leave, I got to come back. All my stuff is here. So I'm just like, and my thing is, if somebody is riled up and angry, either parties, if both of us was, or he was, I don't feel like that's a good time to try to work things out. Y'all need to take some time apart, even if it's just a few hours, and come back when y'all both have calmed down. That's the type of person I am. But he would take it as abandonment. So I was like, look, I'm not doing this with you. I'm about to leave. And as soon as I reach for the door, he starts punching the stovetop. He starts punching the stove. It was a glass stovetop. And he punches it like 4 or 5 times, like really hard. I'm seeing the glass shattering and like I'm seeing the blood all over his knuckles. And I'm just looking like, what the fuck? Like, I'm in shock. Like, I literally felt like I was in a movie. I'd never witnessed anything like that. And it was literally like something was over him. And I'm just crying hysterically, like, what the fuck? We don't even own this. Like, why would you do that? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, I'm smiling and laughing now because, like, I've healed from it. So it's not hard for me to talk about it. But at the time, I was not smiling and laughing. But yeah, I stormed out the house and I'm just driving and I'm just crying, like, why, God? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? I'm a good person. Like, I've been nothing but good to this man. Like, why is this happening? Not once did I ever say, God, is this the man that you want me to be with? I mean, it should have been obvious it wasn't, but I never asked God that when I first started talking to him. I never asked God's permission. I never asked God, is this man right for me? But the reason why I didn't ask is because deep down I knew he wasn't. And I didn't want to hear the answer God was going to give me. And I came back, eventually, I came back to the house and things had calmed down. The next morning, he's gone. I'm in the shower and I'm in the shower washing my hair, just crying. I'm just crying my eyes out. Because at this point, I broke up with him, but I just had this attachment to him still. And I'm just in the shower crying. And I'm like, Lord, please just tell me, like, should I stay or should I leave? Like, should I be with this man? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, should I stay with him? And literally, I heard a voice. It was an inner voice, but it wasn't my voice. It said, if you don't leave him, it's only a matter of time before he kills you. And I immediately dismissed it. I'm like, no, that's just my anxiety. That's just me overthinking. Like, you're being dramatic. He hasn't even hit you. What makes you think he's going to kill you when he hasn't even hit you yet? That's literally what I was telling myself, rationalizing past what he did the night before. And there were so many other things he did, but it was little by little. Like the first time this person, because I don't want to make it about him. It's really about the lessons. But the first time this person had a really like crazy, it was just to the point where I'm like, something is really wrong with this man. Like, no, actually, I can't even think if this was the first time because there were so many times from the very beginning. But yeah, he started an argument with me over nothing. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to do this with you. Like, we can talk calmly, but if we can't talk calmly, we should not be talking right now. And he just got so mad. And this was at the beginning of the relationship, very early on. He punched the front door. And front doors are really sturdy. I think they're made out of metal, but it's not as easy as like punching a wall or something. This man still left knuckle prints in the front door. Like, and that's when I was like, "Ooh, I'm not used to being around this. Like, this don't feel right. Like, no, I don't feel safe." So he left, but I don't remember why I brought that up, but there was so many incidents of, excuse me, him having these episodes of rage. But the craziest one at that point, up until that point, the craziest one was him punching the glass stovetop. And even though I heard that voice and it was very loud, it said, if you don't leave him, it's only a matter of time before he kills you. Even though I heard that voice and it was very loud, I just dismissed it. I just dismissed it. I didn't want to believe it. So I rationalized past it. But the day that I finally left for good was when he finally did put his hands on me. Because I would always warn him, if you ever put your hands on me, there is no coming back from it. If you ever put your hands on me, there's no talking about it. There's no, well, tell me. No, there's no coming back from that. And he would always say, oh, I would never do that to you. You would never give me a reason to put my hands on you, blah, blah, blah. So I thought I was safe. But one day he was at work and I was at home. And he worked third shift. So I was sleeping while he was at work. Then I wake up at about 5:30. I wake up to a text message from him and it says something like, I feel highly disrespected. Out of nowhere. He texted me this out of nowhere. The night before he went to work, we were cool. Everything was cool. There was no issues. We didn't argue about anything or anything. So I'm reading the text message and I'm like, what is it now? Like, what is it today? Like, what did I do now? And I'm just really confused. Like, and that like that's the first thing I'm waking up to at 5:30 in the morning. So I automatically go into fight or flight because I'm like, okay, I feel an episode coming on. Like he's about to have an episode. And I just text him and I'm like, what's wrong? Why did you say that? Like, I don't understand. And he just kept beating around the bush. He just wouldn't flat out say what was wrong. He just kept playing all these little mind games and just saying things without fully saying things. And I'm just like, all right, here we go. Here we go. Like, I already know when he gets off work, like, I already know, like, I'm ready. So we get home. He just, I don't remember what he said. I'm being honest. I don't remember what he said because most of the time when he would go off, it would literally be over nothing. It would be over things that a person in their right mind would not get upset by. Or if they have a problem or issue, they're just like, hey, what's up with da 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 da? But no, it's like literally, like it was literally something like swirling in his mind. Like I feel like I was crazy. Like I feel like I was losing my mind. So I'm like, look, I would always say this because here's the thing. I don't like raising my voice. I do not like, if I could choose to whisper everything I want to say, I would just whisper for the rest of my life. But I don't like raising my voice. So I'm just like, look, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. If you're going to be yelling and going off, I'd rather just leave. Like I'm about to just leave because I can't do this. And when I try to reach for the door, he smacks my hand. And I'm like, oh, so you're not going to let me leave. And he just starts going off. I don't remember what he was saying. He was just going off. And I'm being strategic in my mind. I'm like, okay, since he won't let me go out the back door, let me try to go out the front door. So as he's going off, I'm like slowly moving back, like towards the front door, but I'm trying not to make it obvious. I'm like, acting like I'm listening, but I'm like scooting closer to the front door. So I'm finally able to get out. So I get to my car, but when I open the car door, he doesn't let me in. He doesn't let me get in the car. So he just is like yelling, just going off. And I literally, the whole time he's yelling, I just kept saying the same thing. I said, please just let me go. Please just let me go. Please just let me go. And he just did not care. He would not listen. He just was just going off. And I said, please just let me go. Please. And I finally get in the car. But even though I was sitting in the driver's seat, he didn't let me start the car and he didn't let me close the door. So he's still going off and I'm just begging, like, please just let me go. Please let me go. And it just got to a point where literally I felt like I was going to explode. Cause I'm like, yo, this man, it's like literally, I felt like there was a demon on me. Like literally, it was just so heavy. And I finally said, please just let me go. You've disturbed my peace long enough. And that's when he lost it. That's when he lost it. And he was like, he starts punching the steering wheel as I'm sitting in the driver's seat. He starts punching the steering wheel and he's like, y'all some narcissistic motherfuckers. And I'm just sitting there in shock, like, because he's this close to me. And then he turns around to me and I had this hoodie on. I had a hoodie on. He turns around to me and he grabs me by my hoodie and he starts shaking me. And then he does like this. And as soon as that happened, my neighbor, thank God my neighbor was home. He ran over and grabbed him. And he was like, yo, 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 chill, chill, chill. So he grabs him and I'm just crying hysterically, like, you really put your hands on me? You really put your hands on me? And he was like, you gonna act like you ain't put your hands on me first? And I was like, wow. He really tried to make it seem like I put my hands on him first. So, and literally when he did that, when he like shook me and choked me, the look in his eyes is like he was not there. It was somebody else. And that's when I knew that voice that I heard months prior saying, if you don't leave him, he's going to end up killing you. When I saw that look in his eyes, that's when I finally knew, oh, that was the voice of God. That was God warning me. And that's when I finally left. That's when I finally had the strength to leave because I knew if I did not leave, my life was in jeopardy. And we still lived together 3 weeks after we broke up. We were still living together. And he made those 3 weeks a living hell. Those 3 weeks were an absolute nightmare. I feared for my life. I was constantly walking on eggshells. And literally, that day when everything fell apart, I told God, I said, I surrender. I surrender. Please forgive me for putting this man before you and putting him before myself. Please forgive me, God. I need you. I cannot do this alone. I need you to give me the strength to leave this man because I've tried a couple of times and I wasn't strong enough to leave. I just kept letting him suck me back in. So I was just like literally surrendered to God, like, Lord, let your will be done, but I need you to help me. I can't do this by myself. And ever since then, I started praying every single day. I started meditating every single day. And I still have not missed a day of meditation or prayer since that happened. Like, I talk to God 24/7. And that was another thing that's another reason why I say that was the best, that was the worst, but also the best relationship I was ever in. And it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me because that forced me to really get close to God and seek God like I never had before. If I would have never gotten to that relationship and if I would have never left, I would not have the relationship that I have with God now. My faith is so much stronger. My discernment is so much stronger. That was another thing that relationship taught me. It taught me a lot about manipulation. The birds are chirping. Y'all sound beautiful. But that relationship taught me so much about manipulation. Oh my God, why are the birds so loud right now? I don't know if this is God communicating with me right now or what. Or like cheering me on, like, yeah, keep going. But that relationship taught me so much about manipulation. Like now, I can see right through people. It's so easy for me to pick up on things with people because I was manipulated for almost 4 years on a daily basis. Like it was always some mental gymnastics, always some mind games. It was insane. I could literally write a whole movie about just that relationship. But yeah, it taught me a lot about manipulation. It taught me how the devil works through people. And it taught me what love is because it taught me what love isn't. I really thought I loved that man, but I didn't love him. I just didn't love myself. And that was one of the biggest lessons God had to teach me was to love myself. That relationship, that chapter of my life was a very, very crucial part in my journey to self love. I can honestly say I love myself. I love me some me, flaws and all, shaky voice and all, little quirkiness and all that. I love myself because God loves me and God made me. And I'm good enough just the way I am. I don't have to conform. I don't have to change for nobody. If I'm going to change for somebody, it's going to be for God. But I don't have to conform. I don't have to I don't have to fit into somebody's box or idea of how they think I should be. All I need to be is who God has called me to be. Period. And that was another thing that relationship that was another thing that relationship taught me was to stand up for myself. Because those 3 weeks that we lived together after we broke up, that was the ultimate test of me standing my ground because there was so many different little tricks he tried to ease his way back in. He threatened to commit suicide, and he knew that was a soft spot for me because one of my brothers committed suicide back in 2020. So he knew that was a soft spot for me. So he threatened to commit suicide. But guess what? I knew deep down in my spirit that man was not going to commit suicide. That was just one of his tactics to try to guilt me into staying. And that's when I started to pick up this is the devil working through this man. And I'm not falling for it. I fell for it for almost 4 years, but I'm finally awake. God has finally showed me who I am, and I'm not backing down. I don't care how much you sweet talk me. I don't care how much you Ubered breakfast to the house. I don't care how much you threaten to commit suicide. Like these are all the different things that he like tried to do. And I was just blocking it. Everything he tried, I just blocked it, blocked it, blocked it. Because literally throughout that whole process, I was praying to God every day, like, Lord, please give me the strength to leave this man and please give me discernment. Please tell me what to do. Please guide me. Please order my steps. I need you to lead me. I'm done leading myself. I've been doing things my own way 29 years because I was 29 at the time. I'm 31 now. 31. Sorry. I've been talking so much and so long. My words is like going together a little bit. But I'm like, I'm done leading myself. I want you to lead me, God. I'm done. I surrender. You can have it all. Tell me what to do. I'll do whatever you want. Just please help me make it out of this situation alive because I really felt like this man just might kill me. There was so many times he, especially after we broke up, once he realized no matter what he did, I was not going to stay with him. That's when his true colors fully came out. Like one time he came home and I was using the bathroom. And when I heard him walk in the door, I closed the bathroom door because I'm in my mind, I'm like, we're not together anymore. So you don't need to be seeing me like that. Like, I'm not about to be peeing with the bathroom door open and we're not together anymore. So I closed the bathroom door and he walks up the stairs and he's like, ain't nobody thinking about you, bitch. Like, real aggressive, real hard. And in my mind, I'm like, what did I do wrong? All I did was close the bathroom door when I heard you walk in the house. Like, I was really like, what did I do? Like, what? But I realized, Kylie, you didn't do anything. That man is just sick. He's ill. He has a mental illness. And really, I would say it's a spiritual illness. Because I believe people who have narcissism, people who actually have narcissistic personality disorder, because everybody has a little bit of narcissistic traits, as much as we might not want to admit it. They say that most people are on the spectrum. Like some, like people have like a couple. Long story short, what I'm trying to say is people who actually have the disorder, the illness, I truly believe those people are possessed by a demonic spirit. And I believe the only way a narcissist can truly change is if they surrender to God. But the problem is, most of them won't because subconsciously they believe they're God. Like there was a time that he wanted me to call him God and I wouldn't. And he got so mad. Like, I'm not even going to ever act like I was a victim. I was a volunteer. The red flags were red flagging from the beginning, from the very beginning. But because I didn't love myself and I didn't know myself and I didn't know God, I just let this man take me on a hellish roller coaster for almost 4 years. And I'm so grateful. I am so grateful because I would not be who I am. Who I am today, I would not be her if it wasn't for everything I went through, everything I put myself through by ignoring my intuition and ignoring God, because really, God is your intuition. That's God speaking to you. So, yeah, I learned so many lessons and I'm so grateful. Y'all might think I'm crazy, but I don't care because I'm not about to be, woe is me, I'm the victim. I went through this, he abused me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, all those things are true, but at the same time, deep down in my spirit, I knew that I wasn't supposed to be with him. So, yeah, like God speaks to you through your intuition. Do not ignore it. And understand that just like God is real, that dark force that some people call the devil is real too. And he works through people. And what did I say? All the lessons I learned from that relationship? Lord, I pray that I did. I'm gonna be really upset if there's something that I forgot to mention. Because I really want this message to bless somebody and help somebody, even if you're not dealing with a narcissist. Even if you're just at a point in your life where you feel like a victim. You're constantly victimizing yourself. Woe is me. I went through this. I went through that. This is happening. That's happening. Here's the thing, all the things that you go through in life, whether they're self inflicted or they're completely out of your control, all of the things that you go through in life are meant to make you, not break you. But the choice is yours. You can allow all the things you go through in life to break you, or you can allow them to make you. And when you view yourself as a victim, you're allowing those things to break you. And that's not what God intended it for. What the devil meant for bad, God meant for good. God only allowed it to happen because he knew it was going to make you. The devil thought it was going to break you, but God only allowed it to happen because he knew it was going to make you. But here's the thing, the choice is yours. The choice is yours. You can either view yourself as a victim forever, or you can view yourself as a conqueror who overcame adversity. That's how I view myself. I look at myself and I'm like, I'm a motherfucking soldier. Excuse my language, but I am a soldier. I am a warrior. Some of the things I went through, not just in that relationship, but in my entire life, might break the average person. But I don't know why God has just put this fire in me, and I am a fire sign. I am an Aries. But it's like God just put this fire in me. But for a long time, I did view myself as a victim. Even before everything that happened with my ex and me being in that relationship, I always viewed myself as a victim. And that's why I always was. And that's why my life wasn't changing and I was miserable. But once I got out of that relationship and I really started seeking God, and I really surrendered to God, that's when He finally, finally was able to allow me, was able to make me see who I am in Him, who He's called me to be. Not this low, egotistical, insecure person that I once was. That wasn't really who I was. But I had to be broken down in that relationship. I had to be broken down for God to rebuild me into an even better version of myself. In a weird way, I gotta thank that man. In a weird way, I gotta thank that crazy man because, like I said, I would not be who I am if it was not for everything I went through in that relationship. So I'm so grateful. I thank God every day. I thank God for it every single day. There's never a point in time where I'm like, oh, this happened to me in that relationship, and he did this and he did that, and I want him to pay. I don't want nothing. I just want him to heal for himself. Because I don't have nothing to do with it at this point. Like, the only reason I'm talking about this is to help somebody who needs to hear this message. It's really about the lesson, it's not about the person. But yeah, even so, I wish that person well. I just want him to heal for himself. Because for you to treat somebody, for you to treat somebody, for somebody to treat, for somebody to treat anybody the way that he treated me, you have to be a very, very, very hurt person. You have to be a very, very broken, hurt person who feels terrible and so low about themselves. And that honestly makes me sad because I still have empathy. I have empathy for anybody who's suffering, even if they're causing suffering on other people. I just want them to heal. I just want them to heal because once you heal, once I healed, that is when I finally felt peace and joy. Every day I wake up with joy. Not because I'm rich, because I'm not yet, but not because I'm rich or I'm with my dream husband and my life is just perfect and everything is going my way. No, I wake up with so much joy in my heart because of God, because I finally know God and I finally know myself and I'm finally living up to her. I'm finally living up to that higher version God is always destined for me to become. So, yeah, last thing I want to say, gold is tested with fire, diamonds are formed under pressure. What the devil thought was going to break you, God only allowed it to happen because he knew it was going to make you. Don't view yourself as a victim. In order for you to build muscle, you got to lift weights. You got to be sore. You got to be in pain. You're really like ripping. I think when you lift weights, you're like ripping your muscles or breaking them down or rebuild them bigger, something like that. But yeah, no pain, no gain. No pain, no gain. If you don't ever have dark times, you don't ever have adversity, you don't ever have trials and tribulations in life, how would you grow? How would you grow? How you would probably be a terrible person. If you never went through anything in life, you would probably be a terrible person because you wouldn't be empathetic, you wouldn't be understanding, you wouldn't be humble. All the things that we go through are never meant to break us, they're meant to make us. But the choice is yours. The choice is yours. Whew, I just did a full sermon. I didn't write anything down. That was nothing but God. Because I literally prayed before I got on here. I said, God, use me as a vessel, use me as a messenger. I want you to take full control of everything I say. May I decrease and you increase. And that's literally what happened. I've been talking for 45 minutes. I've never talked this long on any YouTube video. But that was literally God speaking through me. Ooh, that was powerful. By the way, if you need help healing, if you need help shifting your mindset, if you need help with life advice, spiritual guidance, anything, I would love to work with you. My website will be in the description box. after the video, after I exit out, I'm going to go ahead and put the link to my website in the description box. So, yes, if you have any questions prior to booking a session, please feel free to ask. Also, another thing I want to say, just in case you weren't aware, it's probably pretty obvious because all I do is talk about God. Always got to bring God into the equation. But if you do not believe in God, and I don't care what you call God, like Muslims say Allah, people who don't have any religious background might say source or even universe. I'm not here to argue or debate about that, but I'm just saying people call God different things. So when I say you have to believe in God, I'm not talking about like you specifically have to call God God, because like I said, a Muslim might say Allah. But the only way that I can work with you is if you believe in the creator, whatever you choose to call the creator. I can only work with you if you believe in the creator. And it's not because I have anything against people who are atheists. I got love for the atheists, I got love for everybody. But if you don't believe in the Most High, if you don't believe in the creator, if you don't believe that there's a higher force that created all of us, the only reason why I wouldn't be able to work with you is because God is heavily involved in my teachings. All the tools and the things that I encourage you to implement in your life, and really just all of the things that I share, somehow, some way, they're going to have something to do with God. Like, so if somebody who's an atheist is coming to me, like, I need you to help me heal, I need you to help me, blah, 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 I'm not going to be able to help you because you're going to be hearing me talk about God. Like, I'm going to bring God into the equation because God was a huge part of my healing process. So, a lot of the things I'm going to be teaching are things that I did myself. I didn't go to therapy. I did go to therapy like 4 or 5 times, but that's not what helped me heal. That is not what helped me heal. It was me doing the inner work with God. God was guiding me throughout that whole process. So, long story short, if you do not believe in God, if you do not believe that there's a creator, I unfortunately will not be able to help you. And it's not because I don't love you, atheists, people who don't believe in God. It's not because I don't love you. It's just God is heavily involved in the work that I do. But yeah, God bless you guys. Lord Jesus, I've been talking so much, but I pray this message helped you. If it did, please make sure you like it. Make sure you leave me a comment, and please make sure you're subscribed. Okay, I'm out of here, y'all. Bye.